So I'll start with the journey part of it. I joined Sona Koyo actually. This is where I joined initially, a steering listed company. I started by looking at the supply chain and strategy functions. I then moved into Sona Group as a whole, and I started looking at it as all the Sona companies as the group CFO. And then I moved into the group chief operating officer role after that. And in 2019, Valentine's Day, 14 February 2019, I got appointed as the group CEO. That's post the Comstar acquisition. When I started this company, the one I had now, Sona BLW, was about 350 crore top line. Relatively small, very good margins, but single product company. We used to make differential bevel gears. What we made was very, very good, but we did not do anything else with that technology. And the core was the technology. I think in the past 4.5 years I've been here, the team has done the job, but yeah, I get the credit because I've been along for that ride and I oversaw a lot of aspects of that journey. From that 350 crore to 1568 crore last year, we closed about 4 to 4.5 times. We've grown in the last 5 years. And it's been great that despite a global pandemic, despite the largest auto sector shutdown in the last decade, we have still managed to grow by 4.5 times. It's pretty credible, speaks to the quality of the business. But what's bigger for me on this journey is that we went from being a single product company to now having 6 major products. All of them industry leading in their own rights. All of them being globally significant. In differential gears, we have 5% of the world market share now. So we've grown outside India quite fast. Starter Motors, we have 3%. In differential assemblies, which we just launched in 2016-17, we are already 8.7% of the entire world battery electric vehicle market. So for me, we had decided upon a journey, a mission, which was to become India's most respected and valuable auto technology company. And I think that is what has been driving us, the revenue growth. I'm not trying to be dismissive of the importance of financials, but they are a very happy and healthy byproduct. What our journey was to become technologically strong and world-beating and make India shine on the global stage, that an Indian company in a technology which is ahead of the entire mobility industry, which is EV, we can become one of the world leaders. So that was our destination, is still far away. I mean, we want to be the world leader. But yeah, we are on that right path, I would say. Actually, the people part, good you asked it. It's perhaps the most closest to my heart. In the end, and I don't say it for false modesty or whatever, it is the people who actually do the work who are important. In manufacturing, people don't always appreciate that. Yes, the leader can give you the vision, the guidance, set a goal. But I think Drucker said this, culture is strategy for breakfast. It is the culture. What I wrote, I make a plan, someone has to follow it. That's the discipline that I have 3,200 people who will follow that and ensure that it happens, that culture comes, because we also care about our people. We take care of our own. And since, I would say, March last year, when this whole thing started, our goal was essentially to get through this, 3,200 going in, 3,200 coming out, right? That was our biggest goal. We didn't succeed. We lost a colleague last month. Despite all our best efforts, I think he recovered from COVID, but then he developed the fungus thing. I don't know what it's called, muco something. And we lost. But apart from that, we managed to get everyone back. We are completely COVID-free as of today. We ensured, there is a lot of people will tell you that you did this policy, that policy. We can talk all about policies for people who aren't there. Our first thing was, why should we lose someone? Why should we have to give someone's widow some benefit? Why should that word widow enter a boardroom? That was our first goal, right? It was a responsibility in which largely we succeeded. We ensured we did everything that was possible without hurting some other life to get them the best medical care that was available. And like I said, we largely succeeded. We have actively vaccinated, I think 95 to 96%, I don't remember the exact figure, but about there, of our workforce today is vaccinated with at least one shot. Some people can't get the second shot yet. The remainder are not vaccinated because of either they had COVID recently or underlying medical conditions. And we also did free vaccination for their families. So all of this was done at the company's cost. We do things like give immunity kits regularly. We ensure that the working conditions are safe and the strictest hygiene levels. Even now, we're not moving away from the safety and masking standards. They will continue, and I think we are going to continue with them regardless of government guidelines till we are sure that this danger has passed. So, yeah, the people part has been important. I think because we did not do things like, a lot of people did knee-jerk, short-term things like cut salaries of people, which we always thought was ethically and morally, I won't say repugnant, but at least debatable. That when a crisis comes, the first thing you decide to do is hurt the people from whose labor you get these fruits. So we didn't. What we decided to do was that senior management, anyone above 10 lakhs, will take salary cuts graded up to me. And I think I took, I don't remember, but 40 to 50%, but I don't remember exactly because after 3 or 4 months, we stopped that and then we reversed it also. Pretty soon because we did come back with greater strength. Like I said, FY21 was our best financial year ever, despite the COVID interruptions, etc. So yeah, we take great pride in our people. And that's something we always want to put first. First, we should ask ourselves the question, why? Why electrification? Why is everyone going gaga over electrification? A lot of people argue and give very misleading facts that if you're charging it using electricity comes from coal, what have you saved, etc. It is actually statistically proven. There are reports out there from Bernstein, from other reputable research houses that an electric vehicle, even if you take the full life cycle cost of the electricity, even if it's made by thermal means, if you take the factory production cost of power, you take battery to be produced using dirty energy, even then you have 30% less CO2 emissions. If you have all these from clean sources, it can go down by 80% CO2, which is amazing that you can take 5x, make it 5x better. Transportation is 30% of all global CO2 emissions. Transportation, yes, it's not just automotive. Transportation also has aviation. It also has shipping. Shipping is a large contribution to CO2. But what we can do, we must do, because if we don't hit net zero by 2050, this planet has an existential crisis. And I think this message, it's not about just economics or this is a great trend, let's hop onto it. It is about doing good. Hopefully you do well by doing good, but it is about doing good. You don't want to create a planet that your own children can't live in because there is no planet left. Because you want to make some money and have a fancy holiday, that's all you'll get out of this, right? So we from 2015 have been running after this trend. Our very strong belief is that 2015 to 2035 is the age of electrification. After 2035, I don't think there will be a gasoline engine left. 2025 to 2045, the next 20 years, that will belong to autonomy. And I think that after 25, you will not have human drivers. It will be all electric, all autonomous after 2045. That's the vision we had in 15 when we took this call. We always tried to look at the future and say, in 20 years, whatever is the mobility device, and when I say mobility, I literally mean any device that transports passengers or goods. That is for us mobility. It doesn't have to look like a passenger car, and it may not, frankly, look like a passenger car 20 years later. Will the product that I make be there or not? That's our razor. You can call it Vivek's razor. That our razor is very simple. If it's not, I don't want to be in it. I will not go into it. We will look at M&As, etc. also from that angle. So we have a starter motor portfolio, which we are looking at how do we take that core capability of making motors, now starter motors, start engines, and before 2035, which is the sunset date, move all of this to something else and motors which actually do electric vehicles. So we have started making motors, BLDC and PMSM motors to drive electric two-wheelers, electric three-wheelers, and now working on electric four-wheelers. We will start making at some point electric motors to drive autonomous, starting with industrial robots, maybe industrial, maybe used for passenger cargo moving in airports, etc. But basically motors that move goods or passengers but are electric, are free of any carbon emission. That's our goal. That's why we've always been, EV is a result of why we want to do business, and it has to have a greater purpose than just making money. And that was our entire motivation.